I got some questions during an online class I taught recently about LSAC's LSAT and GPA calculator, because I mentioned it in passing. Someone was like, what is that? And I didn't have my internet browser pulled up to show them, so I want to do that for you today instead. So I'm on LSAC's website right now. It's officialguide.lsac.org. I'll include a link for all of you watching later. And basically what it does is it lets you input your GPA and your LSAT score, real or imagined or dream score. And you can input those and then see your odds of admission at various schools based on those schools' average or median LSAT scores of their admitted or matriculating students. So here we are, GPA LSAT search. I've input here what would be like a dream score, great GPA 3.8, great LSAT score 175. We search, and then we can see the results at various schools. I've sorted this from likelihood of admission low to high, and you can see that some of the top ranked law schools are supposedly low odds, even though the 175 is above their medians, and the GPA is kind of in the middle of their medians, at least for Virginia, for example. And so likelihood is never 100%. Notice that. Likelihood at a top school is never guaranteed, but it is somewhat likely. But then Michigan maybe a bit better, Duke and Cornell, Columbia all a bit better. And then we can see that for the majority of other schools, they're just ranked alphabetically at that point, like Akron, Alabama, Albany, American, etc., all the way down the line, just ranking schools alphabetically. Basically what that means is that with a 3.8 and a 175, you'll get into almost any law school except maybe some of the top 14 where your odds are never guaranteed and your odds are never super high just because there are a lot of people with high GPAs and high LSAT scores. So if we make it a little bit more reasonable, for example, let's say it's a 3.2 GPA and let's say a 168 LSAT, what happens then? Searching on there, likelihood low to high again, you can see now that the GPA of 3.2 is definitely below what Cornell and Columbia and Duke want. The LSAT score, though, of 168 is actually pretty competitive for some of these schools. At Cornell, it's slightly on the higher end. For, let's say, Southern California, USC, it's above. But you also want to consider other factors, like if your letters of rec are weak, or your personal statement isn't that good, or if you are not from an underrepresented minority group, then your odds may not be quite as good. So those are just some things to think about. Again, this is officialguide.lsac.org. I'll include a link for you to play around with this. I would say that numbers are not destiny, but they are a filter that you have to get past. And so if your LSAT score is way below the median and your GPA is 2, they might not ever even look at the rest of your application. And so you want to make sure that at least one of your GPA or LSAT score is at or above the median in order to maximize your chances. And while your GPA may be fairly set in stone by this point, your LSAT score is not. You can always retake, and law schools will not average multiple LSAT scores. So there is hope. There is a future for you. There are many LSAT test dates and more being added all the time. So just some things to think about if your numbers are not lining up where you want them to be. I'll include some links to resources to help you plan your study schedule if you are considering a retake as well. So anyway, that's all for now. Hope this helped. Please subscribe to be notified of new episodes as I release them, and feel free to reach out if you need anything at all. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.